And we're and we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Empowerment Through Intuition. Tonight is Are You a Healer? And what are the different types of healings? So, thanks for joining us. I'm Nora with Into Intuition. I'm a two-time best-selling author and an international national speaker on intuition. And my partner in crime and in
Hi, I'm Chris from Conversations with Chris. I'm a psychic and a healer and a medium and a minister. You know, I kind of do it all. I just kind of have fun.
So let us tell you what's going on tonight. If you're inside of the Zoom portal, there's a Q&A section down on the bottom. Just jump in there. Hi, Denise. Just jump right in there, and that's where you can ask any questions. If you are not in the portal and you're strictly watching us off of Facebook, we will do our best to kind of catch what's going on. We just can't guarantee you we will get there. Hi, Becky. Nice to have you back. Please feel free to throw in any questions, but we're going to get started right away. And the main thing is, who is a healer? And Chris,
What is a healer?
what is a healer?
Let's start at what is a healer?
And Chris and I really were like, everybody. You know, a mother's hug, a child's hug will heal you. A
child's laughter.
Oh,
you know,
my
that
God.
Goofy little baby laughter.
Becky, thank you. I love her hair down too. Chris, I love your hair. She does that because somebody else told her stop pinning it up for the show. But back to the healing stuff. A good listener can heal amazingly. Hugs, kisses, true love. And by true love, I don't mean, oh, he, she, true love. I mean the true love of a parent with a child or a spouse with a spouse, significant other, all of it.
Unconditional love is what she's
That's
talking about.
Really, thank you. Unconditional love. Loving you the way you are and the way you are not. All these are ways of healing. So technically, we're all healers. I just had to throw that out there. What are you doing?
I'm asking Ramir to come over here and pick up my rock.
Oh.
I told you they were jumping out of my hands.
Do hang out with crystals, especially on conversations like tonight, because we're talking about healing. And interestingly enough, hey, Adele's on. Woo-hoo!
Hi, Adele.
Oh, you went through the portal, so you didn't have to do Facebook. Good girl. Interestingly enough, a few of us have been doing a lot of healing over the last couple of days, and we're using the technique Chris talks about all the time on the show. So, Chris, you want to explain it so those who aren't familiar with it can get familiar with it?
Well, what we do is we use a lot of crystals, as Nora was telling you, and I teach everybody about breathing in the colors, saying a prayer, seeing God's hand above your head, and bringing in the color from God of healing and breathing it all the way in, holding it for 5 seconds, seeing those little fun scrubbing bubbles, getting all that yuck out of you, and then breathe it out for 5 seconds. And when you breathe in and you allow God's energy and healing into you, and you just wrap it around your whole being, it just comes in and it washes everything else away. And a lot of times, if you just keep repeating it, pull it in, breathe it in, hold it for 5 seconds, see the scrubbing bubbles, blow it out. Now, I tell people to do that energy exercise with the color until it goes in green and it comes out green. Because anytime there's a gray or there's another muddy color or it's not as bright in your mind's eye as it should be coming out as it went in, it means there's still residue. So you just want to make sure that you get all the residue out. And it can heal you. Just allow it and understand that God will heal you if you allow him to heal you. Thank you, Linda.
Okay, I have to apologize. I'm over on the Facebook side trying to fix a link. So that's why I keep looking away. But we also want to talk a little bit about the spiritual healing and energy healing,
Okay.
psychic healing, and hands-on healing. And we really found some interesting stuff out about about prayer and hands-on healing that we don't agree with.
Not even a little.
Not even a little. I mean, these darn scientists are trying to say like it doesn't make a difference, and in some cases it makes it worse. I'm like, are you for real? So we're just going to tell you that in our prayer group that we work with, we've had the good Lord has healed cancer more than once. I would say a
In
good
1 week.
yeah, it was like 3 times, 3 different people. So prayer does heal. Those who,
We got
they
to tell
find,
them the parameters of what happened.
yeah, would you do that while I try to fix this problem
Okay.
on the
Well,
other side
Nora's off
that's
fixing
distracting
Facebook.
me?
Let
Yeah.
me explain. We have our little prayer group and we text each other and we say prayers every day for people in need. Well, one of our members of our prayer group needed help and had a CAT scan or some kind of definitive MRI that said there was a tumor and they had scheduled it within a week. They were going to jump right on it. They're going to biopsy this thing and we are going to pray it. And I was like, okay. I said, I'm here and just keep praying, girls. It's going to go away. And they're going, okay. Mind you, they all thought I was nuts at the time. 1 week later, she goes into the doctor's office. They can't find anything, nothing. They read ultrasound, they sent her through another CAT scan, something else, and there wasn't a drop that they could find. We've had other people where the doctor literally had them in the hospital and said, they're filled with cancer inside the lobes of the lung, outside the lobes of the lung, here, there, and everywhere. But we have these other 3 problems we're going to fix first, and then we'll worry about those 4. Okay. So we got praying for that, the first 3, and we were praying for the other 4 on the backside. We're saying, okay, God, we just want it all one and done because we're lazy and we just want it all done. So we're doing figure 8s and we're praying, and all day and every day everybody would remind each other to pray. 3 days later, doctor comes in and says, okay. She says to the doctor, I already got that message. He goes, I just got here. What do you mean you already got that message? She goes, you're behind the times. God already told me. He sent this messenger and this is what they told me. And he goes, that's not even funny because I got the report right here in my hand. It's hot off the press.
Chris, you dropped your volume. I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me. Is that better?
Not
No?
much. Can you bring that back up?
I didn't touch anything, but I'll bring it up. How's that?
Okay, Adele's saying she can hear you fine, so it's something on my end. And we're going to ignore it, and I'll just do my best to hear you.
Can you hear
All
me
right.
now?
Yeah, they're saying they can hear us perfectly, so it's just me. I'll do my best to read your lips. Guys, if you have any questions, please throw it into the Q&A right at the bottom of the screen. Click that button and throw in your questions right there. Thanks, guys, for letting me know you can hear us. I can't hear Chris, but hey, we're psychic. I'll know what she's saying.
We're going to do the hands-on healing, Nora.
Yeah, you're going to hands-on heal my headset.
Hey, Nora.
Yes.
Check to see if you hit the volume button on your little.
I did. I just adjusted it. It was me.
Okay. See, you're just messing with me.
I know. So I like what Casey says. If it's God's words and the real faith, it does. If you have real faith, it does work. But you have to believe. That's true. I mean, honestly, ask and you shall receive is because you are believing you will receive. You know you are receiving. You need to see that you are receiving. And that's how a really powerful way that healing occurs. So
the hands-on healing, you got to talk about that.
Man alive, I'm going to think of this guy's name. MacNutt. Okay, he used to be a priest, Father MacNutt, and he eventually left the priesthood because he fell in love with somebody. And but he's still a really good holy man, and he wrote a lot of books on hands-on healing when he was a priest, and he had huge movements, and he still does it. I don't know if he's still alive, but his school is still in effect. It's in Florida. And these people literally put hands on the patients or hands on the person asking for healing, and they can see the bones moving as they're praying. One young person's leg grew 3 inches. Now, it didn't happen in one day, but it began with the healing. And over the next several weeks, it kept on adjusting. So, like the hands on prayer, or when you pray for a person, you can't expect spontaneous healing done. It's a process. Sometimes it's spontaneous, it's done. Um, but most of the time, it is a process. And what you've done is you started the things moving along. You started the snowball rolling, and now it has to keep going. And it doesn't hurt to keep praying, because it's like pushing the snowball as it gets bigger. You're encouraging it to keep going. So, yeah, definitely hands on is amazing. And if you want some excellent books, look up, type in Father MacNutt Healing, and his older books will come up, and then you'll find his newer books that way. But he's got this great book, just a hand on a cover that says healing. It was that book that caught my eye when I was a kid. And my
Adele put
grandfather,
it in there, Dr. Francis MacNutt.
Francis, that's his first name. Thanks, Adele. Thank you. MacNutt. Excellent resource for anybody who really wants to do hands-on type of prayer. And I remember being at a service where this priest, so as you know, guys, I'm Catholic. So obviously I'm going to Catholic services. This is where I get my spirituality. This doesn't mean only a Catholic priest can do it. No, there'll be rabbis, there'll be ministers, it's all faith. So anyway, this one priest was at this healing mass, and he said that for years I would put my hand up and not touch the person, and I would pray. And I would never touch them, because you're told not to touch people. It's not appropriate. And then one day, one of the kids on the football team at the high school hurt his knee. And because he had a reputation for being able to heal people even without touching them, the kids came to his office with the football player wobbling along, and he's like, "Father, you got to help me, you got to help me." And the father put his hand out, and the boy took his hand and stuck it on his knee. And the boy was healed very rapidly right away. And he realized with time, because at that point he said something told him, put your hands on the people. He said the amount of healing was increased by like 50%. So there is something with the human touch on touch, that matters.
Well, I'm going to explain to you. I've been
Why?
teaching my kids hands-on healing the way I learned from my grandmother. If you look at my hands, you'll see that they're really red. They're really red all the time. It doesn't matter if it's summer, winter, morning, noon, night, doesn't matter. And that's usually the sign of a gifted healer. Their hands are usually going to always be red. Well, my little guy, he's a very gifted healer. And I've been working with him since he was like 3 years old, showing him how to do it, how to do the Donna Eden energy medicine. And he used to call it mommy magic. Well, I'm also a nurse. So he would tell, and I tell the kids, you go to the nurse at school. She's like the mommy at nurse. The mommy at school is like the nurse. When you got a problem, you go see the nurse, and she's like the big mommy, and she'll take care of your boo-boos. Okay, mommy. Well, my little guy goes into the nurse, and he's fell down in the gym or something, and his knee hurts, and he wants her to fix his knee. And she's looking at it, and she goes, well, what do you want me to do with it, son? And he goes, well, you got to do mommy magic. And she goes, well, what's that? And he takes one hand and the other hand, and he puts it on his knee, and he goes, and he picks her hands up, and he goes, you're broken. I got to tell my mom. So the nurse calls me and says, Would you mind telling me about mommy magic and how I'm broken? I'm like, well, I know you have a degree and everything, so do I, but I've been teaching the kids, hands-on energy healing and Donna Eden's energy. And she's like, he just told me I was broken. I was like, what did
Love
you want
that.
from? She goes, a Band-Aid like most nurses do, and an alcohol swabby and a little Neosporin. I said, wasn't what he was looking for. She goes, I was informed.
I love that. I think
So
that's precious.
I was trained as a young child to do it. There were 7 of us. And my grandmother after church we would go see her and she would teach us how to do the healing, how to do the psychic, how to do the mediumship, all of those things she was teaching us after church every Sunday. And we would sit in a circle and one would touch the other one and we would just put our hands on them or on our feet or wherever we thought they needed it. And my sister used to get migraines, so I used to always put my hands on her shoulders. And she used to always put her hands on my feet because my feet always hurt. Well, nothing's really changed because it's still the same 2 problems, and we're 50 years later. Um, so when your hands pick up that something or someone needs to be healed, you don't always have to physically touch, but you can touch. But don't be surprised if it's a really hot touch. Like when I touch, my son will tell me, Mommy, it's really hot. Mommy, it's hot. Can we be done now? And sometimes it's just the transference of heat. And I teach him to pull the energy in through his head, breathe it in, say his prayer, and breathe it out through his hands. And that he's not taking it from himself and he's putting it right to where it needs to go. And it usually works. Up at Lilydale, where I do some training and I do take some classes, they have a healing center right there on site, and it's part of their church. And they do hands on the shoulders, and they just allow they allow themselves to be a vessel of healing.
That's exactly how I learned it in the beginning, was with the hands on the shoulders, and you do nothing. You don't direct it. You don't tell it what you want it to do. You don't say, oh, I want to help get rid of their headache, or I want to get rid of their back pain. No, you stand there with your hands on their shoulders and you bring the energy in and you just let it go. And you step out of the way. You shrink yourself up, your personality, you get out of the way, and you're just the tool.
You're just a vessel.
That's going to be the channel for God to send down, the divine to send down that healing. And the greatest part is when that person's done absorbing whatever's needed, you feel like somebody pushes your hands off. It's like you get this old nudge. It's like, oh, I'm done. I guess they're finished. It's exactly, it's like topped off.
And Nora will tell you, if like you're with your loved ones and you're in bed or you're hugging them or they're close to you, you might just put your hand on their hip or on their shoulder and you might not even realize it, but your hand's getting hot until they're like, hello, we're friends, you like me? Can you stop leaving the griddle iron on my shoulder? Can you take it back, please? And you're like, oh, I knew it was a little warm. I just didn't realize it was hurting you. Sorry, dear.
Lisa has a question for us. I've heard that you should never attempt a healing without first obtaining permission from the person in need. Do you agree with that statement? You shouldn't do anything without asking permission, but you don't have to verbally get permission. You can ask their spirit. Because you can't ask an infant, do you want healing? No, but you can. Sorry, it was an obvious easy one for me. Or even an animal. I mean, we work on animals. We will heal and pray for an animal. But we go to the higher spirit. Now, if there's not a wall there that's saying stop, don't enter, that's an invitation. And 9 times out of 10, you feel like somebody's got their arms wide open, like, yeah, baby, please.
Come on,
please.
come help me.
Yeah. I mean, when we get.
Or you'll feel a pulling. Do you get the pulling, Nora?
The pulling. Definitely.
I feel like suction.
So, yes, you do want to ask, but you don't have to ask like May I heal you? May I do prayerful healing? May I do hands on? May I send you some divine energy? Just be a channel. Let's see what happens. You don't have to say anything. Just ask the higher spirit. So I hope that answers it. There was something else we wanted to jump into. Psychic healing.
Oh,
This
there
is
we go. That's a
really
whole.
interesting. Yeah, it's a whole nother thing. Um, Most people today, when they see psychic healing and they read about it online, it really is almost identical to spiritual or identical energy medicine. Like they're all kind of used interchangeably. But traditionally, psychic healing was very corrupt, for lack of a better word. It was shysters and
Charlatans, my grandma
charlatans.
used to call them.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say, all gypsies are that way, but they had a reputation for it. And then they would tell you you have this horrible, bad, curse on you and you're going to have to get it broken. And they would use their psychic healing to break it, and they would use hand tricks. So psychic healing has got a real bad reputation. So just avoid it. You don't need that. Really, you need divine healing. Divine healing comes from the unconditional love of prayers, hand on, energy exchange by somebody who's loving and has the intent to heal. That's how it happens. And
Yeah, because the intent is really serious. Like whether
yeah.
you're sitting next to the person, in front of the person, touching them, or you're 5,000 miles away from them. I mean, it can really change the message and how the energy is received and sent.
Okay, well, I expected a gazillion questions with this topic. I can't believe we're not getting bombarded. So I'm going to take this opportunity to say, did you get your tickets for the Atlantic City show? Right there, Conversations with Chris or intuition.com. Jump on there after the show. Of course, you don't want to interrupt the show. And grab your tickets before it's too late, because Chris and I promise everybody in the room will be read that chooses to be read. Unlike most mediums, we don't walk around and say whose grandfather passed away. You just stand up and we read you. First person to pop up gets read. Then the next one, next one, next one. We just have a great time at our shows. It's in Atlantic City at the aquarium, free parking, gorgeous, gorgeous little aquarium. And the room we have overlooks water on 3 sides. I just want to have a show there because it's such a nice feeling. It's such a great view. But anyway, join us. We'd love to have you. September 22nd. It's from 1 to 4. The doors open at 12:30. We must be out of the building by 4:30, but Chris and I will probably make arrangements to meet up at some restaurant or something if anybody wants to follow along. We haven't decided exactly yet, but we'll figure out something. So I had to throw in my commercial. You understand, right, Chris?
I understand, because we got a tissue event coming.
Yeah, and it's called the tissue event because we make so many people cry. It's fun. We do run out of tissues. All right, Margaret, ladies, what is your professional opinion on Reiki healing? Chris, you look fabulous. That's because Chris put down her hair. Adele, she put it down her hair for you. Oh, thank you, Margaret. So do I. I think Reiki is amazing. Absolutely amazing. There is Elena, who is a Reiki master, is actually going to be at the Atlantic City show. She's the one who teaches us and helps us with the crystals all the time. All the time. She's a Reiki master and a shaman. I think it's a beautiful healing modality. I'm not sure, Chris, is there something specific you want to add to that?
I just think it's an easy and comprehensive way for people to send energy and receive energy that's been around for thousands of years. And its intent has to be clear, and the heart has to be focused in order for it to work. And the higher your spirituality level, the better your sending and receiving abilities are. I think it's wonderful. I have a Reiki 1 certificate. I haven't gotten my 2 or my mastership yet. I just haven't gotten around to it because I do hands-on healing. So to me, it's just another certificate. Should I get it? Probably. Will I get it when Elena has
Probably not.
time?
And the thing is, whether it's Donna Eden's energy work, Reiki healing, the healing that they do up at Lily Dale that I learned also, where it's just you're putting on your hands and you're letting it be, prayerful healing like a priest or a minister. Healing's healing. There's 100 different ways to serve pasta. There's 100 different ways to do healing. One is not better than the other. We have a question. Can you please define what a soul healer does? A soul healer, I'm going to grab this one and then
Okay.
Chris will throw in what she says. A soul healer, it does a lot of like shaman work, soul retrieval, retrieving the pieces that are left from broken
Lifetimes,
lifetime, not just
journeys.
lifetimes, but mostly in this life. Mostly in this life, but you can retrieve pieces of your soul from way off in other lifetimes. An example would be a bad car accident as a child. Okay, I was in a bad car accident as a child. A piece of me, a piece of my soul was left at that scene. My brother died, my sister was badly injured. So, no, I was never the same. As I healed and as I did healing work, that piece of me that was lost came back and it became whole again. So that's soul healing. You're retrieving pieces. Another part of soul healing is you remove your ties to past lovers.
And events.
Physical contact with people in such a way requires you to release them, take back that part of you left behind and give them back the part of them that they left behind. And that again brings in the soul and makes it whole. And just for another thing on healing is psychological healing. Psychological healing tremendously moves things forward like soul healing. You don't just have to go to a healer. You can go to a really good therapist and receive the same. I just think the therapist takes longer. But it's okay, Chris. You want to jump in on the soul healing?
The soul healing, basically, as Nora was saying, is you're going to bring other events that are around you that might have been in this lifetime or sometimes a past lifetime. And you're going to pull all those events back together so that you can complete the journey at your highest level right now. That's my understanding of what the soul's journey, how it becomes complete. And some people might say, well, your life always looks so easy. No, not really, because I do the hard work and I make sure that I'm looking under the rocks and I'm answering the questions and I'm not leaving things unsaid or undone. Do I make mistakes? Everybody makes mistakes, but that's the journey. That's part of what you're here for. The soul allows you to say, I'm still missing something. And when we start doing healings with crystals and we start seeing the shaman on a regular basis, we'll start, it's like an onion and she starts peeling off the layers. And when we get down to a certain layer, our soul is saying, I need X and I need Y and I need Z.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll start finding your diet changes, whether you want it or to or not. Like you'll be able to be grossed out by certain things you used to love. And I'm one of those people and I'm like, and I'll be like, Elena. And she's like, I'm sorry, you've elevated. I'm like, elevate this. I want my cheesecake back. I'm a big woman. I need my cheesecake.
I wish she would elevate me up so I can lose a few. Guys, you're throwing a lot of questions in the chat, so it's hard to catch them. If you could throw them up in the Q&A, that's better. But
well, Becky wants to know about trauma healing. And then somebody else, Melissa, wants to know about rose quartz. So you
okay, I got the rose quartz right here. Get it out of your bag, honey. You have to think of crystals the same way you think of
buddies.
Plants. We say like all medicines, or most medicines have a basis in plants. And then, of course, they break down what they're made up of and they do it synthetically. The same with the crystals. The crystals have something to offer, like a plant has something to offer. Rose quartz is very good for healing the heart, healing sadness, brokenheartedness, helping to protect you in that respect from being harmed. Now, is the rose quartz doing the protection? No, it's the energy of the divine going through the rose quartz and giving it its purpose. A cow gives us milk. Why? Because the divine goes through the cow and its purpose is to provide the milk and a good hamburger. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not saying, oh, this crystal, it's all about the crystal. No, it's all about the crystal's purpose in the order of everything.
Right.
It is our purpose to try to explain things to you. It doesn't mean that we're special. It just means this is our purpose right now, to explain something. The purpose of the tree, is to provide the nuts. So the crystals all have purposes. And in fact, I'm hanging out with this guy tonight, and I keep forgetting his name, but
It's a
Chris,
blue kyanite,
blue
and
kyanite,
and it's for healing.
because my back has been killing me. But I also use kyanite, just regular kyanite, all around my house with selenite. Why? Because their purpose is to absorb the negative energies, the disturbing energies. The kyanite helps break it up. The selenite sucks it in. Really, you want to learn about crystals? Get to that Atlantic City show.
Oh, I got to
Pick
tell you.
Elena's brain while you're there.
Well, what we're doing for you guys for the Atlantic City show, Elena and I got a special treat set up. We're going to make little bags of crystals with a little charging station, and we're going to explain what each bag does. And we're going to have a breakdown of what each is in each bag and what it does and why it does what it does. So it's going to be a one and done. Is all you got to do is figure out, do you want abundance? Do you want happiness? Do you want healing? Do you want spiritual growth, or do you want spiritual protection? You just have to figure it all out. Whichever, you can have one of each. They're going to be affordable. Just bring extra cash. There you go.
Because there'll be a whole table of crystals, and you'll have Elena there to pick her brain. And so do you want to answer Becky? By the way, Becky goes on to Zoom and does a lot of shows too on readings. So if you guys can ever catch her, Becky, you're more than welcome to plug in your Facebook page or something so people can join up and learn from you too. I love that we're a community of like-minded people. It's not just all about Chris and I, even though we like to think it is. It's about all of us. We're a community of friends. We're going to learn from each other. If we learn from each other, we can spread it out further into the world. And, we're such spiritual-minded people, and we really need that in the world. So Becky's question is about trauma healing.
Well, trauma healing basically is you have to get to the root of the trauma. And a lot of people don't want to look at that root. Can you do it? Yeah, but it takes some digging. It takes a lot of honesty on both sides. The person that was traumatically injured through the memory, and you have to work at bringing up that energy and pulling it out and being able to mutate it and forgive yourself. And a lot of forgiveness work goes with that, Becky. We do it. We don't always call it trauma work, but we do it, and we can do it. It just takes a little bit more time and a lot more energy. And sometimes it has to be broken into segments because of the fact that some people, they just emotionally can't take this huge shift really quickly. Other people are like, just give it to me straight. And I'm like, okay, but you're going to feel like you got run over by a Mack truck. And if I'm saying that, that's not good
It's
news.
a Mack truck. And a lot of times when they do ask us to just go ahead, just tell us, they don't believe us because
Right.
they weren't ready to hear it. So we'll
And-
tell them, but it doesn't happen.
And then they have to process. So Elena does a lot of the long-term trauma work for us because she can do it in stages, and she can figure out and feel, okay, they're going to need this long to heal, and they're going to need this long to process. And she's much better at doing that. I can get in, do it, and get out couple hours. She's going to take a couple months and she's going to take the longer road. But a lot of times her road is safer, depending on how much trauma there is and how long it's been.
Yeah. I mean, I've had trauma in my life in a few different places, and I've been seeing the same counselor for 16 years, more on than off. And I don't think that makes me crazy. I think that makes me more whole, more healed. If you have that opportunity and you don't take it, I think you're crazy. Okay, Melissa, it doesn't matter if you're crystals or tumbled or a la natural. It's so funny you said that because I'm actually holding one that's a la natural, the same one that's tumbled. And there's two schools of thought. I believe a lot of people believe if it's just left in its natural state, has more energy. But from what I can pick up through my own senses, they're both just as powerful. So
It depends what you're using them for.
that would be, yeah.
I like them if they're going to be protection stones to be in their natural format. I'd like to have, like, I'll show you this one, have a little bit of the earth still crusted on this. See, this is one of my amethysts. Why? Because I work with these all the time. This one is a little citrine, and I like this one because it has a little bit of its natural backing on it. I have a lot that are tumbled. I have spears. They all work well. If you are feeling like your crystals aren't working well, there's many different options for recharging them and getting them back to where they need to be so that they can be of value to you and they can be humbly of service, because that's exactly what they want to be. Some of them, like the amethyst, you just got to watch that you don't leave them in the sun too long. What I do is I leave them in the selenite, but I turn their backs to the sun, so their backs are in the window and their color is protected. So any leaching of color is because I zapped them.
She sucked the energy out of them, in other words.
Just a little. And then I take my little crystals and I say to Elena, they didn't like me anymore. Can you make them like me again?
Another fun way to charge them is to just stick them all in a basket when you know there's a thunder and lightning storm coming or just a really heavy downpour. Put them outside, not the selenite. The selenite,
yeah, not the selenite.
Dissolve, but everything else, absolutely. And they like sparkle. They just
get
totally
excited.
change when after it stops raining. It's amazing. I always, in my house in Wilmington when I lived there, would spread them out. Here in the city, I don't have the same option, so the windowsill gets used a lot.
Well, if you're really desperate, like I'm getting there, even though we just went to a show to buy more crystals because I do these things, we've decided that maybe I should bury a few. Find a nice spot next to a tree or something and just keep burying them. Dig it up, have some treasures, put them down, dig them up. So they can recalibrate to Mother Earth.
Burying crystals, we're fine. We keep account on her family members, and so far they are all accounted for. So I just want to say, Casey, thank you. She wrote, Nora, after the meditations, I have never felt so at peace with my situation and so level headed about everything. And I don't feel the need to hold on to the stuff we spoke about anymore. Just a huge breath of fresh air. Thank you. Oh my God, that's like means so much to me. Guys, the morning meditations, you don't have to get up at 6 a.m. to do them with me. You can listen to them at any time. They're on Into Intuition's page, and I usually remember to share them to the Empowerment Through Intuition page that we all share. It's just a wonderful way to bring peace and calm into your day. And if all of us, and even half our Facebook fans, did this, the world would shift. Just had to put that out there. Yeah.
Hey, Nora, you might want to look at your phone. I sent you a message.
She sent me. I know we forgot to say about the. I had to shut my phone off, so I'm gonna turn it on real quick. Is it the color?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So listen, guys, if you want a free ticket, whatever color Chris put on my telephone is the color that's going to win. So We are not doing telepathy. This is not telepathy. This is intuition. Don't second guess. The first color that comes to your mind, you throw it into the chat. Melissa's already thrown one up in the answer area. And you guys on Facebook, I'll do my best to keep an eye and make sure you get yours in. Whoever gets the right color gets a free ticket to the show. If there's more than one person, we're going to put them in, all the names together, and pick one. And you get a free ticket to the Atlantic City show. So while I'm waiting for my phone to charge, the Atlantic City show is September 22nd at the Atlantic City Aquarium. It is Chris and I live. We will read every single person in the room. That's why we keep it to a minimum of only 100 guests. And we do rapid fire. Just like we do on the show, we're very rapid fire, but you'll also have the opportunity to hang out with us afterwards.
And I get a potty break. I get one this time, guys.
Yeah, I promised her this time she gets a potty break. I know at the last show, I didn't give the poor girl a chance. So Chris, I didn't get it, probably because my phone was off. So do me a favor, text me the color that you want them to be thinking.
I did.
Show. I love it. Gloria's giving us her color anyway, even though she can't make the show. Oh, you know why? I think my do not disturb is on. Yeah, it is.
Well, read your.
I'm undoing it. I'm undoing it. So let's see what else is going on while everyone's throwing up guesses. Hey, John Berkman. How are you, sweetheart?
Hi,
So nice
John.
to have you. Give your wife a hug from us. She's expecting a baby, guys, so keep that young lady in your prayers. I believe she's already in her 8th month.
Ooh, she's
potty breaks are good for the clothes. Dave says potty breaks are good for the clothes. Thank you, Dave.
They are. They're better for the psychic who doesn't have to run to the bathroom.
Chris, please text me it again. And
I just did 2 seconds ago.
Okay, so it just didn't come through yet. It will. All right. What else do we have? We got another question, I think, Melissa, with soul healing. If you are having issues with someone, can't you just pray and ask God to allow poor souls come together and battle it out without having to battle it out physically? Oh, you don't want souls getting together to battle? No. You can pray and ask that the souls find peace together, that they find a way to make amends and find a road together back to God. But battle? Do you have a differing opinion?
I wouldn't recommend battle on any level because all you're doing is creating another layer of energy that's going to bring back problems that could be lasting into another, developing it into another problem. You're inviting problems instead of healing problems.
Okay, thank you for that, because I'm in total agreement. You should never battle anything. All right, guys, throw in those colors and any more questions. And I'm scanning Facebook right now just to see. Whoops, my phone's talking. So if anyone can hear it, they just heard what the color was. I don't think so, though, because I covered it quick. Hey, Ruth. Oh, my gosh. I hope you're still on. How are you, girlfriend? Haven't seen you since. Oh, God, I don't even want to say. So nice of you to join us.
Gloria guessed blue, even though she can't come.
Yeah, and Melissa's green. We got a lot of people. Remember, guys, go with the color that first pops into your head. Try not to get influenced by other colors already stated. Melissa, poor choice of words, souls meeting and working out issues. Yes, there's nothing wrong with that. There were some difficulties that are going on with family members that I know of, and there is no communication in this realm. But we often pray that there just be peace and love and healing in whatever way it needs to be. But we also pray that there be no contact until that occurs where it needs to occur so that it can ripple into this world. Because anytime there's contact, it's a nightmare and it's not worth it. I'm stuck in a nursing.
She's stuck in
I know, Aaron, you're stuck in a nursing home, but you're still allowed to vote Poor Erin broke her knee. She's one of those guys who are always joining us for everything. We miss you, girlfriend. She actually was the first person to buy a ticket for the Atlantic City show, and we had to refund it because she broke her knee. Jeez.
She was going to come play with us and everything.
I know. I told her afterwards, honey, you could have just asked for a refund. We would have given it to you. You didn't have to go through all of that. Oh, God, too funny.
Not
Right,
all that
Carol. Hi,
drama.
Carol. Thanks for voting. Thanks for throwing in your color. Awesome. So do you want to give it one more minute and then we'll say who got it right or how many people got it right? All right,
Yeah,
guys.
well,
So you
we'll
have a
just
few
keep
more?
talking.
All right. So any other questions about healing and hands-on prayer? And it's like Chris and I
Guys,
just
I
have
want to talk to you a little bit about breathing because
yeah.
breathing goes with healing and meditation. And for it to be effective, you have to breathe from your belly. And whether you're healing or you're meditating, you have to really pull the energy from the top all the way to the bottom. And that's why belly breathing is so important. And it'll just pull it up and you'll be able to pull all the energy down and through you. So just remember to put your hand on your belly or your lower abdomen to make sure that the energy is going where it needs to go. Doesn't get stuck along the way.
Mhm. And then there is talking about crystals. I brought up plants, and I want to share a story with somebody from an In Such a God group that I used to belong to. Actually leaned up against a tree, leaned her back against a tree. And I don't know if she asked the tree for assistance or was she just asking God for assistance at the time. But the tree, she swears the tree just pulled the pain right out of her. Nature, animals are all there to assist us in all types of forms. So it's just something to think about, something to play with. It's nice. It's cool. Spirits are playing board games with us.
Who's winning?
Yeah, who's winning? It's right. I'm going to put money on the spirits because they know a little bit more than we do. It's down here. This is Christina down on Facebook side. Will my sister and I ever heal? We had a falling out in 2011. I'm getting the number 3, and I'm not getting it like 3 months. I'm getting it like it's more like
3
3
years.
years that there is the possibility of it starting
There'll be a window of opportunity
opportunity.
that'll open. And it depends how you handle the feelings at that time. And just be careful about how you approach it. And just open it up with prayer and ask Gabriel, the archangel of speaking, and ask him to step in and help you find the right words to make it a comfortable transition. And they usually do. When I don't know what to say, I just say to him, okay, Gabriel, can you come help me here? And then the words just fall out of my mouth just like they're supposed to. And people
Gina.
don't get offended.
Yeah.
Oh, Aaron says the spirits are cheating.
Gina, thank you. Another wonderful thing. I just want to say that I don't know what kind of healing Chris and Nora have been doing with me between the guidance and meditations, but my life is so different now and for the better. I am so grateful. I pray for you both daily. I love you both. Thank you. And
Thank you. We love you too.
That's so sweet. For those of you who might not know, both Chris and I we do it slightly different. Chris does provide counseling. So
emotional support
counseling where I will provide coaching on the intuitive angles, and help enhancing your intuition. So we do have a lot of people who join us and talk to us and work with us. And Gina, it's been such a pleasure. Also, Gina helps us out a lot too. She's awesome and dynamic. Will my mother and I ever heal? This is the anonymous attendee.
I heard yes.
I did too, but it's going to be
But
when
it's
mom's
some work.
when mom's realizes she doesn't have a whole lot of time left, unfortunately.
When she's not as stubborn as she is now, let's put it that way.
Yeah, which means mom's not going to have a lot of time left.
I try to be gentle, and then you let
She
the steamroller.
sugarcoats it.
I didn't sugarcoat it. I
Yes,
just
you
was
did.
being kind.
And for Christine and for Anonymous, when these people approach you and they really do want that, like Chris said, that window of opportunity, swallow your pride. Don't listen. You don't have to be right in the moment. Just
Right.
listen. And you're healing them and healing yourself in the listening, in the silence. What do they say God is? God is in the silence. If you are silent with a loving heart, it will work.
And even if you're angry still, it's okay to be angry. Just allow yourself to feel God's love
Hmm.
and to just process what they're trying to say, even if it comes out wrong.
Right.
A lot of times when there's been a long silence between two people, they don't know how to say they're sorry because they've acted like a jackass for so long. It's like, how do I get to the other side of the street again? Oh, got to do all that. But they really do want to. And I feel both of your parties want to make peace, but they're really just stuck. They're stuck in the pattern that they've always been stuck in. So when those windows open up, do what Nora said and just listen and listen with an open heart.
Listen in silence and be prayerful. Like repeat the name of Jesus if you're a Christian in your mind with reverence while they're speaking. Because your mind is going to be thinking, oh yeah, well, I'm going to tell them. Nuh-uh. Be thinking, Jesus, help me. Jesus, let me focus. And if it's Christ is not your divine Lord, then, God, divine Father, whatever, let me hear, give me the words. This is how it's done. In fact, when Chris and I are reading, coaching, doing any kind of intuitive training, any kind of counseling, we're in prayer in our heads. We're not in thought. If we were in thought, we couldn't do what we do. Sounds crazy that we're not in thought, but our thoughts are prayerful.
And that's why I tell a lot of people, you better record it. If it's
Yeah.
falling out of my mouth, you better record it because it's not a conscious thought. I hear myself talking, but I don't know what I'm saying half the time.
Right.
It just like falls out and people are like, I'm
Yeah.
like, oops. I'm
Definitely
checking with the other
record.
side. Oops, what did we just say?
Christine, thank you. She says, okay, thank you for the fact that she knows she'll eventually have peace with her sister, but she also loves our meditations. And she's up every morning with me. They really help me. Thank you, sweetie. They really help me. And I'm really happy that there's so many of us out there doing it together. It's so much fun. Melissa says, and so don't forget, guys, get those colors in, okay? Melissa says, so if you sever a connection with someone here on earth for whatever reason, will it be necessary to communicate with them on the other side or not? I have a theory, but I want to hear Chris's.
Well, you don't have to do anything because free will is dominant here and in heaven. And when you get to heaven, there's so much love and there's so much forgiveness for you and for all your faults, and things that mattered on earth just don't matter in heaven anymore. And you're so wrapped in their love and their forgiveness. It's just like, okay. And then God talks to you about what you should have done better. And you're like, okay, boss, I guess I screwed that up. All right. You forgive me? All right. I'll do better next time. And it's not that traumatic there as it is here. It's not as drama filled as it is here. I mean, some people want to believe that it is, and they can make their heaven that drama filled if they want it to be. For me, both times it was very, very peaceful, very non-dramatic. I was having an argument with God that was a little dramatic because I didn't want to come back, but hey.
She lost.
We had a different did I say.
Okay, now I'm going to take it a step further. I'm not going to disagree with anything Chris says in that respect, except you will come back with the same soul some way in your life because it's a life lesson that hasn't been learned.
Right.
So cutting them off now and severing it now is only postponing it. And that will not stop me from cutting off and severing some ties. I have, because they're just too toxic. And maybe in another lifetime, I'll be able to handle it. I'll be in a different position. But in this lifetime, severed, done. Thank you. Next. So we're only human here. Let's be grateful that the divine gives us so many opportunities. Okay, we only have 5 minutes. So I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, and we have one winner. The color was red. So Linda, you won. Good job, girl.
Yay!
And I'm pretty sure I have your email, but just in case I don't, message me your email address and I will send you the code that you can use to download a free ticket to the show. Now, everybody else, try next week or just do yourself a favor and purchase a ticket because, oh my God, wonderful. Thank you. You're welcome. As soon as we do hit
See,
the maximum
intuition
number.
does work.
Yeah, it does. And I think you guys who were saying green got slightly distracted when you saw the word green because all of a sudden it came up a whole bunch. You can easily, your intuition, think it's your intuition, but it's actually what you're seeing that influenced you.
No, they're thinking green for healing, and that's why we're going to pick green for the show.
So they used the logic without the intuition side. Red hands, Casey. Red hands, yeah, Chris.
I tried to help you all.
That's cheating.
I gave everybody the same opportunity.
You did. Thank you, Melissa. Great show. Thanks for all the information. You guys are quite welcome. If anybody has an opinion on what shows we should do, throw them our way. We're always open to getting different ideas. Several of the last few shows came in from different listeners who just message us and say, well, what about a show on X or Y? So it's great because it helps keep us thinking. It helps keep us thinking and bringing up new things. And
we like to explore with you.
Gloria, thank you. I love that you guys love the show. All right, one last time. Atlantic City is the 22nd of September. 1 p.m. Doors open at 12:30 till 4 p.m. We must leave the building by 4:30. Elena will be there with loads of crystals also to assist and answer any questions. Chris and I promise everybody in the room will get a reading. If we don't hit you in the room, we will hit you outside of that room. We will make sure any loved ones who are with you get their message through. We are determined to make that happen. So if you really want to know where Grandpa hid that money in that coffee can, come on down. Can you put Rosie on your prayer list? Okay, guys, Becky is requesting prayers for Rosie, so please do that. And yes, Rosie, yes, Becky, we'll put Rosie on our list. And one more thing before we kill the show. A lot of us are familiar with the In Search of God. So if anybody is interested at all or is familiar with the In Search of God work from the Edgar Cayce Foundation and might be interested in joining a live Facebook study group, please contact me on Messenger, okay? Because we will meet electronically and study the materials weekly. It is pretty intense, absolutely amazing things happen. Let me know if it is something that interests you or if you have any questions about it. Other than that,
have a great week.
Thanks, guys. Love you all.
Love
Chris,
you guys.
I know when I hit the send button, I lose you too. So good night, my friend.
All right, hold on. Casey wants a prayer for Papa. He fell and broke his hip and his kidneys aren't doing well. And he's got out of surgery yesterday.
Okay.
Casey Hughes, Papa.
You got it, Casey. We got Papa on the list. Love you too, Adele.
Love
All
you,
right,
Dale.
guys. And you guys on Facebook, thanks
Bye,
for joining
ladies.
us. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Nora.
Bye, sweetheart.